For nearly 50 years, Blackstone Tower had dominated the city's skyline. Rising 40 stories above the streets below, it was home to some of the world's largest financial companies. During the day, thousands of employees filled its offices. At night, however, only a handful of security guards and maintenance workers remained. Most people believed the building was empty after midnight. They were wrong. Among the night staff, one story had survived for decades. It wasn't written in employee manuals. Managers refused to discuss it. Older security guards only whispered about it when they were certain no one else was listening. They called it the elevator that never stops. The legend claimed that once every few months, usually between 2 o'clock and 3 a.m., one of the elevators ignored every command. It continued traveling downward long after reaching the building's only basement. No emergency alarm worked. No buttons responded. The elevator simply kept descending. Those who returned from the ride were never the same. Some quit the next day without explanation. Others refused to enter another elevator for the rest of their lives. A few simply disappeared. Officially, no such incidents had ever happened. Leo Morgan had worked as a night security officer in Blackstone Tower for almost 2 years. Calm, practical, and skeptical, he had heard every ghost story employees liked to tell. He laughed at all of them. Buildings don't become haunted, he often said. People just like scary stories. On a cold Friday night, Leo finished his final security inspection just before 2:15 a.m. Every office was locked. Every conference room was empty. The building was silent except for the soft humming of air conditioning vents. The building was silent except for the soft humming of air conditioning vents. He grabbed a cup of coffee and walked toward elevator C. The polished steel doors opened immediately. Inside, the elevator looked perfectly ordinary. Bright lights, mirrored walls, soft instrumental music playing through hidden speakers. Leo stepped inside and pressed G for the lobby. The doors closed. The elevator began moving. Floor 38, 35, 30, 25. Everything felt normal. Then the cabin suddenly shook. The lights flickered once. The music stopped. The display reached B1, the building's only basement. But instead of opening, the elevator continued downward. B2. Leo frowned. There isn't a second basement. He pressed the door open button. Nothing happened. He pressed the emergency alarm. Silence. No sound. No response. The display changed again. B3. His phone lost all signal. The temperature inside the cabin dropped so quickly that his breath became visible. The mirrored walls began to fog from the inside. Then, slowly, a number appeared that should never have existed. -13. Every button on the control panel went dark. Except one. The -13 button glowed with a deep red light. Leo had never seen that button before. His reflection stared back at him from the mirror. Then, without moving his own body, his reflection slowly smiled. Leo did not. The elevator shuddered violently. A loud metallic ding echoed through the cabin. The display stopped. Floor -13. The doors began to slide open. Beyond them, there was only darkness. Then, one by one, the lights in a distant office slowly switched on. Someone, or something, was waiting for him. Leo stood frozen as the elevator doors opened completely. The darkness slowly faded, revealing what looked like an ordinary office floor. Rows of desks stretched into the distance. Computers, coffee mugs, stacks of paperwork. Everything appeared perfectly normal. Except, every chair was occupied. Dozens of office workers sat motionless, facing their computer screens. None of them moved. None of them spoke. The lights above flickered softly. The elevator doors remained open behind Leo, as if waiting for him to make a choice. His radio suddenly crackled. A weak voice whispered, "Don't leave the elevator." Static. Then silence. Leo looked back toward the office. One computer monitor suddenly turned on. Then another. Within seconds, every screen glowed with the same message. "Welcome back, Leo." His heart stopped. He had never been there before. Had he? A woman slowly stood from one of the desks. She wore an old business suit from another era. Her employee badge was faded, but Leo could still read the year. 1987. She smiled gently. "We've been waiting for you." The office workers slowly turned toward him. Every single one smiled. Then, together, they took one step forward. The elevator chimed. The doors began closing. Leo rushed back inside and repeatedly pressed the door open button. Nothing happened. The workers kept walking. Closer, closer. Just before the doors closed completely, one pale hand reached through the gap and rested on the elevator wall. A cold voice whispered, "You'll be back." The doors slammed shut. The elevator began rising. The elevator climbed in complete silence. The display counted upward. -12, -8, -3, B1, G. The doors opened into the brightly lit lobby. Everything looked normal. Employees were arriving for the morning shift. The security cameras blinked as usual. Leo stumbled out of the elevator. His supervisor looked at him in shock. "Where have you been?" "I was gone. Maybe 10 minutes." The supervisor slowly shook his head. "You disappeared last night." Leo frowned. "What do you mean?" "You've been missing for 3 days." Police had searched the building. His family had reported him missing. No one had been able to explain how he vanished without leaving the tower. Shaking, Leo reviewed the security footage. The recording showed him entering elevator C. The doors closed. 8 hours later, they opened again. Leo stepped out exactly as he remembered. But there was something terrifying. During those 8 hours, the elevator had never moved. It remained on the lobby floor the entire time. The doors never opened. Yet Leo clearly remembered traveling to floor -13. He quit his job that same day. Months later, Blackstone Tower replaced every elevator. Elevator C was permanently removed. The company never explained why. Years passed. Then one rainy evening, a new security guard reported an impossible malfunction. The elevator display briefly showed a floor that wasn't on the control panel. -13. When technicians inspected the system, they found no record that the number had ever appeared. But the security footage told a different story. For just one frame, the elevator doors opened onto a fully lit office. Inside, dozens of workers stood perfectly still, watching the camera, waiting for the next person to arrive.